Good afternoon and thanks for watching THV 11 News at noon. I'm Michael Aaron in for Amanda Yeager. Lots of breaking news to get to, and we start in Lonoke County. The community is looking for answers after a teen was shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy early this morning. Jordan Howington is near Highway 89 where that incident happened. She's live with what we know right now. Jordan.
Hey, good afternoon, Michael. Yeah, so what we know so far is that a Lonoke County deputy made a traffic stop early this morning around 3 a.m. and ultimately that traffic stop ended in gunfire. Now, according to family, the 17-year-old Hunter Brittain was shot and killed during a traffic stop. We are told he was working on the transmission in his truck at a nearby body shop, which is owned by a friend's family. He and that friend took the truck for a test drive, and before making it back to the shop, his family says that's when Brittain was pulled over and shortly after shot and killed. Now again, Arkansas State Police has taken over this investigation. We do not know what led up to that shooting as of yet. I did speak with Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley, who says the deputy involved did have access to a body cam. However, he is not sure if it was recording at the time of this incident. Now, of course, we are staying in close contact with the Arkansas State Police and the Sheriff's Office. We'll have the latest on this investigation tonight on THV 11 at 5 and 6. Michael, back to you.
The shooting death of a 17-year-old driver is now in the hands of state police. I'm Craig O'Neill, and that is our top story tonight. Overnight, a Lonoke County deputy shot and killed the teen along Highway 89. THV 11's Jordan Howington has been at that scene today and is now back at the sheriff's office with the very latest. Jordan?
Hey, good evening, Craig. Yeah, a family is left absolutely heartbroken tonight after that Lonoke County deputy shot and killed this 17-year-old around 3 o'clock this morning. The family says that he was out working on his truck, getting ready to go to work about 6 a.m. this morning, and unfortunately that traffic stop ended in gunfire.
Heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. I love that boy.
Becky Brittain is left with questions after a Lonoke County deputy shot and killed her 17-year-old grandson, Hunter Brittain, early Wednesday morning.
We want the truth.
The deputy pulled him over along Highway 89 near Cabot after the family says he had taken his truck for a test drive after working on the transmission at a nearby body shop.
Hard-working kid, willing to spend all night working on that thing to make sure that he got to work this morning. Well, he didn't make it.
Arkansas State Police is investigating. They did not release why the teen was pulled over. They did say detectives are working to determine what led up to the shooting. Meanwhile, Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley is expressing his thoughts.
My condolences go out to the family. You know, my prayers are for not only the family but the law enforcement officers because this is hard. This is tough.
Sheriff Staley says a deputy had access to a body cam. However, it's not confirmed if it was recording or not at the time of the incident. Family is just seeking closure and wants a fair investigation.
I just miss him so much already, and I just don't know how I'm going to get through this.
Now, we have since learned that the deputy involved began their career as a jailer in 2012. He became a certified deputy in 2013, and that deputy has since been placed on paid administrative leave until this investigation is final. Once ASP finishes their investigation, they'll send it to the prosecutor's office, and they will decide if deadly force was necessary in this case. For now, live in Lonoke County, Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
We begin with developing news this evening. The Lonoke County Sheriff has issued a statement following the death of 17-year-old Hunter Brittain, who was shot and killed by a deputy during a traffic stop early yesterday morning. Sheriff John Staley says he wants to know exactly what led to that shooting, but also wants transparency and accountability. That's why he's asked the Arkansas State Police to handle the investigation.
State police are gathering the facts. They know much more than I do. We immediately gave them body camera footage because we aren't handling the investigation. We don't know how much of the incident was captured by the camera. As sheriff, I'm committed to transparency. That's why I will support the public release of body camera footage when the law and state police investigation allow.
Sheriff Staley urged people to wait for all the facts before rushing to judgment. He also promised that any deputies who violate the law or his policies will be held accountable. Stay with THV 11 and THV11.com for the very latest on this investigation.
Nearly a week after a Lonoke County deputy shot and killed a 17-year-old on a traffic stop, the teen's family feels like they've been left in the dark.
And their questions linger as they make funeral arrangements. THV 11's Jordan Howington shares why they continue to demand answers.
It's been really rough. This is getting heavier every day.
The Brittain family pleads for answers as they're preparing funeral plans for Hunter Brittain, the 17-year-old shot and killed by Lonoke County Deputy Michael Davis in the early morning hours of June 23rd.
Hunter didn't deserve to be killed. He didn't deserve to be shot.
For 6 days, family and friends have protested outside the Lonoke County Sheriff's Department seeking justice for the teen they say was a hard worker who was working on his truck when he was pulled over by Deputy Davis. As protests continue, they seek further justice.
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Hunter's family has started a petition with more than 2,400 signatures so far, hoping to get legislatures' attention to create Hunter's Law, which in the petition says would mandate all officers in Arkansas to wear a body cam and require them to be activated for the entire shift.
We've had a lot of help from the community members because there's a lot of people that sees this as wrongdoing.
The Arkansas State Police says the investigation remains open, and the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office did hand off body cam footage to the state police. However, the Brittain family feels they have been denied this transparency. According to Sheriff John Staley, it's unclear when the camera was activated and if the incident was recorded or not. Arkansas State Police will not release that information until its investigation is complete.
It's a waiting game to see what the prosecutor comes up with. It's not going down like this.
Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
Jordan, thank you. Now, a word about how the case is being investigated. State police are looking at the use of deadly force.
But Sheriff Staley says there's a separate internal investigation. It's looking at policy and procedures, and that also remains open.
The case of a Lonoke County teen shot and killed by a deputy a week ago has brought up questions surrounding the deputy's possible body cam footage.
That still has not been released to the public, and the teen's family has yet to see it. THV 11's Jordan Howington asked a criminal justice professor and defense attorney about the impact the video could play.
Body cams are a good thing because they increase transparency between the police agency and the public.
But for Hunter Brittain's family, they feel this transparency has been denied after the teen was shot and killed by a Lonoke County deputy last week during a traffic stop. We know the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office handed over body cam footage. However, we don't know what parts of the incident were captured.
I can understand why they may be doing some further investigation with regard to a video. However, I do find it quite odd that they're not at least acknowledging that a video of the incident exists.
Patrick Benka has practiced criminal defense for more than 20 years. He is on the side that believes the Brittain family should have already seen what happened to Hunter.
And there has been shooting incidents here in Arkansas where the tape was released in short order. And in those cases, the officers at least had a defense.
UA Little Rock criminal justice professor Jim Golden has researched the use of body cams. He says releasing that evidence too early could jeopardize the investigation.
That video footage shows one view. You know, there's just a whole lot more questions that have to be answered.
While Golden suggests Hunter Brittain's family be patient and let the investigation play out, Benka sees a lack of consistent transparency within agencies across Arkansas when it comes down to releasing body cam footage.
It won't hinder an investigation. It will cause problems for the agency if the tape recording reveals something, one, that the officer that's untrue, or corroborates the family's version and I guess the friend in the car's version of that, you know, he was carrying a bottle of oil.
Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
Arkansas State Police is investigating Hunter Brittain's death. The Lonoke County Sheriff's Office has also started an internal investigation. Both remain open while the deputy involved, Michael Davis, remains on administrative leave. Calls for justice continue in Lonoke County for a teenager shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy 1 week ago today. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith.
And I'm Craig O'Neill. Hunter Brittain's death has gained national attention, and now his family is getting some well-known legal representation.
THV 11's Ashley Godwin brings us the latest from Lonoke County.
It's been a week and people are still gathered outside of the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office to mourn Hunter, but the family says they have plans and the funeral coming up.
Justice for Hunter!
Change is coming,
Change
that's
is
right.
coming. And it's not just justice for us, it's justice for everybody.
Everybody.
17-year-old Hunter Brittain was shot and killed by Lonoke County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Davis last week. Hunter's family is preparing to lay him to rest, and they're also getting ready for the legal battle to come. The family has hired Devin Jacob and Benjamin Crump to represent them. Both were lawyers in George Floyd's murder case.
We've seen what they've done on TV. We know that they can handle the business that needs to be taken care of here.
Arkansas State Police are in charge of the investigation after it was handed over from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. The body camera footage went with it, and the family says they still don't know if the camera was turned on.
We haven't got any answers.
The family knows the process ahead of them is long, but they say they're hopeful Hunter's death will create change.
One life is too many. Yep. I mean, it shouldn't have had to happen. But it happened for a reason, and we're going to show what that reason was.
Do our best to change the world and how these officers conduct themselves.
In Lonoke County, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
The Lonoke County Sheriff fires the deputy who shot and killed a teenager last week. Thanks so much for watching THV 11. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith.
And I'm Rolly Hoyt. Now THV 11's Jordan Howington has been following this story all day. We were first on the scene Monday morning. Jordan, tell us why this deputy is off the job now.
Hey, good evening, Rolly. Yeah, in a video statement put out by the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, Sheriff John Staley says Deputy Michael Davis broke department policy by not having his body camera turned on. Davis shot and killed 17-year-old Hunter Brittain 1 week ago today during a traffic stop on Highway 89 near Cabot. And since that deadly shooting, family and friends have protested for several nights, calling for the release of his body and dash camera footage. And we've learned tonight the patrol vehicles don't have dash cams. As for the deputy's body camera, here's Sheriff John Staley.
My review of this deputy's actions has determined that he did not activate his body camera in a timely way. This means there is no video of the actual shooting. We see the aftermath, but not the shooting. Due to that failure, I have terminated the employment of this deputy.
The investigation is still in the hands of the Arkansas State Police and the Lonoke County prosecutor. Now, really, Marlisa, if anyone who's wanting to watch that full video from the sheriff, that is on our Facebook page and actually our website, thv11.com.
Now, Jordan, you've spoken with Hunter's family tonight, right?
Yes, we have actually gotten to speak on the phone. They are telling me that they are aware that the deputy has been fired. However, they have been told by their lawyers not to speak with the media. And just as we mentioned earlier in the show, in the 5 o'clock show, they have obtained those lawyers that represented George Floyd's family, and that is Benjamin Crump and Devin Jacob.
Some high-profile lawyers there. Thank you, Jordan. Now, Sheriff Staley also said today his department has received death threats in the days since the shooting. Those threats are also under investigation.
Again, we've posted the sheriff's video on our website. You can find our full coverage of this story and any further developments right now on thv11.com. Family, friends, and national figures gathered in Beebe today to remember Hunter Brittain.
It comes 2 weeks after the 17-year-old died after being shot by a Lonoke County Sheriff's deputy. There are still open questions about what happened, partly because Sergeant Michael Davis didn't have his body-worn camera turned on.
Sheriff John Staley fired him on Friday, saying it's against department rules to leave the body camera off when encountering a member of the public. Arkansas State Police is now investigating. THV 11 is bringing you team coverage tonight. Ian Russell is live from the sheriff's office with how people are reacting.
And then we'll hear from Jordan Howington. She's live at the Beebe Schools Auditorium where Brittain would have attended classes this fall, but instead today held his funeral. Ian, we start with you.
Would always try loving on me. Hey, Rolly and Marlisa. Yeah, right now we're out at the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, and this is where that group that was at the funeral made their way to after that funeral was over. They've been here for multiple nights now protesting the death of 17-year-old Hunter Brittain. Now, I did have the chance to catch up with some of Hunter's classmates who told me they wanted to remember how he was to them. They say he was a kind, well-liked young man who's just gone too soon.
Reality is really starting to hit now that we've seen it. We're here. And it's been rough. It's still, it's fresh. It's still new.
For the classmates of 17-year-old Hunter Brittain,
he sat beside me and I asked him what his name was. He said Hunter Brittain.
Today was never going to be easy.
Numb. I feel broken, confused, hurt, a little bit of everything. It feels unreal. I talked to him a couple days before it happened.
But they and over 200 others pushed through the pain. They say it's what Hunter would have wanted.
I don't think Hunter would have expected all these people to be here for him. I mean, he knew he had people that cared about him. He knew a lot of people loved him, but I don't think he would have expected all this.
For a community as small as this hurts. Brittain was set to graduate soon and was well liked. His classmates say hearing this shocked them.
We're all here for a reason, and whatever his reason was, he completed it, and he touched a lot of hearts doing it.
And now their reason reads as clear as the words on their shirts: justice for Hunter.
I say that the criticism that he has today and will have forever is well justified for him, and that he needs the justice his family and his friends deserve for him.
I feel like having Al Sharpton come, Ben Crump, it's really showing that we're not going to stop until we get something. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to get justice for the boy we loved and we all cared about.
And while they can't do anything to bring Brittain back, his classmates say they can start making sure he's not forgotten.
I pray for him every day. I hope justice is served, because firing that cop isn't what he needs. He needs criminal justice.
You know, I think he'd be extremely proud of us for pushing, because I know him. If he was here and something like this happened to someone he cared about, he wouldn't give up until he got justice. He'd keep fighting for it.
That's his father right there. Now, one of those classmates told me that he didn't think any of this was real until he saw Hunter Brittain in his casket today. He told me that once he saw that happen, he just couldn't hold his emotions in. Reporting live at the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office, I'm Ian Russell, THV 11 News.
Thanks so much, Ian. Now we're turning to THV 11's Jordan Howington.
She is reporting tonight from that BB Auditorium on the funeral service today. Jordan?
Hey, good evening, you guys. Yes, this auditorium was packed today with family and friends paying tribute to Hunter. And yes, Al Sharpton, two attorneys, prominent attorneys, joining in, speaking here, also seeking justice for Hunter Brittain.
Hunter Brittain, life matters.
Hunter Brittain's life matters. That's the words of a chant led by Ben Crump, a well-known civil rights attorney.
You're loved. Your family will not stop advocating until we have justice for you, Hunter.
Friends and family gathered to remember Hunter, who lawyers say is an unarmed 17-year-old who was shot and killed by Lonoke County Deputy Michael Davis during a traffic stop nearly 2 weeks ago. Reverend Al Sharpton flying in, showing his support while standing alongside the Brittains as they fight for answers.
Wrong is wrong whether you have on blue jeans or blue uniforms. Wrong is wrong is wrong is wrong.
We sat down exclusively with the family's lawyer, Ben Crump, who also represented George Floyd's family after he was murdered by the hands of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. He said Tuesday is about remembering Hunter, while moving forward is about justice.
And it is shameful that he did not turn on his body camera video so we could see what happened. But it is more shameful that he killed an unarmed teenager. And as we often talk about, he had not identified a threat.
Crump's partner attorney Devin Jacobs says while they are working to contact Arkansas State Police, who's investigating Hunter's death, they are also working to file litigation.
Along with Ben Crump, and we'll file litigation pursuant to Civil Rights Act, and that will be for violations of the Fourth Amendment, for taking somebody's life using objectively unreasonable force. And we absolutely expect to hold this officer, and frankly, this sheriff, responsible as well.
And I had a moment to speak with Hunter's family today, who says his death did not seem real until today when they saw him laying in that casket. They say they still do not have answers, and they are hopeful that this team of lawyers will do just that, bring them answers and bring justice to Hunter. For now, live in BB, Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
Jordan, thank you. We have continuing coverage on THV11.com and on the air. That includes special coverage tomorrow on CBS This Morning, which comes on right after Wake Up Central.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Former Lonoke County Deputy Michael Davis is behind bars charged with manslaughter.
Sergeant Davis shot and killed Lonoke County teen Hunter Brittain in June following a traffic stop. Brittain was unarmed when Davis shot him, and the deputy's body camera was not on during the shooting.
Jordan Howington joins us tonight. She has more on the charges announced in the case today. Jordan?
Hey, William. Marlisa, Polk County Prosecuting Attorney Jeff Phillips was appointed special prosecutor in this case to make sure it was investigated fairly. And after months of reviewing the case, today, while the teen's family and friends crammed the hearing room, Phillips announced Davis will face a manslaughter charge in the death of Hunter Brittain.
What I'm going to do now is read to you the affidavit that was presented to a judge this morning with an arrest warrant for Michael Davis.
The courtroom filled with 17-year-old Hunter Brittain's family and friends, now filled with shouting in relief.
And we're one step closer.
Former Lonoke County Deputy Michael Davis shot and killed Brittain in June. Brittain was working on his truck with a friend when Davis pulled him over. Court documents reveal Brittain got out of his truck to stop it from rolling backwards. Brittain reached into the back of the truck for a container. Davis says he gave several commands to the teen to get back in the truck before shooting him. However, Brittain's friend says he only heard a gunshot from the passenger seat. Friday, Special Prosecutor Jeff Phillips announced Sergeant Davis will face a manslaughter charge.
As Brittain began to bring his hands from the bed of the truck, he discharged his weapon one time towards Brittain. Davis says as he observed the bullet strike Brittain, a container came from Brittain's hands that originated from the bed of the truck. The container landed on the ground.
Phillips confirmed Brittain was unarmed. Davis was fired in June for not activating his body camera during the shooting. Friday, Davis turned himself in to state police, and now he'll spend the weekend in jail, something Brittain's family says is a step forward.
It's not a murder charge, but we can live with this. He made a mistake, and he's going to have to pay for it. We're happy that that's coming.
The Brittain's attorneys, Ben Crump and Devin Jacob, released a statement following today's announcement. It says in part, these charges are just a first step in the pursuit of justice for Hunter Brittain, whose life was tragically ended by the unjustified use of deadly force. We hope to see former Officer Davis held to the fullest extent of the law. The prominent civil rights attorneys will be standing by for a civil case later. For now, family members and supporters are keeping the focus on the criminal case.
I was heartbroken because I can't imagine his last minutes of his life.
Well, up next, a Monday morning bond hearing. That's when Davis will find out if he will remain in jail awaiting trial. Now, his lawyer, Robert Newcomb, told THV 11 today that this whole event has been a tragedy all the way around. And he doesn't think what his client did was criminal, but said that's why there will be a trial.
Jordan, thank you. This case has been on the hearts and minds of the community of Beebe. That's where Hunter went to school. People there have been calling for criminal charges for months, and THV 11's Ian Russell gets their reaction to the prosecutor's decision.
Earlier, Marlisa, signs like these aren't as common to see anymore, but the message behind them is still very common. Friends of Brittain say today's announcement is just another step in making sure Hunter gets justice.
So it really does go deeper than he was just a classmate or he was just a friend, you know?
The past couple months haven't been easy for the city of Beebe.
It hurts. It still hurts. I still feel empty about it a lot of times.
And for Nathan Waters, it's hit close to home. Hunter Brittain was his classmate, his teammate in football, and his cousin.
Countless sleepless nights where I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about him, praying we get justice. You know, there's been countless nights where I stayed up looking at the Facebook posts about it, the news interviews, and there's still days where it doesn't feel true.
But Friday's announcement that former Lonoke County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Davis had a warrant out for his arrest helps.
It hit me again. He really is gone. It hit me, that hit again, but it also hit that we got something. So, it was kind of a bittersweet thing, you know?
On my way to meet Nathan, I saw this SUV. There's still paint on the back window that says Justice for Hunter. The owner of that SUV, salon owner Michelle Lawson, says the message has been on there since Hunter died, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
What if that was my kid? So you absolutely want to do everything you can to stand behind it.
Lawson has a 17-year-old son, the same age as Hunter was when he died. She says it's been difficult as a community to cope with this, but Friday's development is a start.
We're all pleased with that, you know, at least something is finally being done.
So while today isn't the end of the road,
I hope people know that when we said we weren't going to stay quiet, we meant it, you know, and I hope they realize that now.
Nathan says they have something headed towards justice.
We're getting what we needed. We're getting, and it's kind of giving us closure and stuff, you know, but, you know, I think we're all going to realize too in the end, no matter, we get our justice, but God will have his justice in the end too, and that will be the greatest justice of them all.
In BB, I'm Ian Russell, THV 11 News.
And tonight, the latest developments in the case of a Lonoke County teenager shot by a former sheriff's deputy.
Michael Davis is out on a $15,000 bond after a hearing this morning. He faces manslaughter charges in the death of Hunter Brittain.
THV 11's Mercedes McKay went inside the closed courtroom at the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office and paints us a picture of what happened.
No cameras were allowed inside the courtroom, but the small courtroom was filled on the left side with Brittain's family and on the right with Davis's family. Davis looked straight at the judge the whole time, never looking back at the Brittains. They said all they wanted was acknowledgement and an apology.
I don't think it's fair. My nephew's Hunter is laying in the grave or refrigeration. This man's gonna get to go home.
Several family members of Hunter Brittain entered the courtroom early Monday morning, emotions running high as they saw the man charged with killing one of their own.
I wish he would look at us and give us some sort of apologetic look, something, but nothing. It was just solemn.
The bond hearing of former Lonoke County Sergeant Michael Davis was short and to the point, lasting less than 10 minutes. Both Special Prosecutor Jeff Phillips and Davis's attorney Robert Newcomb agreed to the $15,000 bond, money that Brittain's uncle Jesse says can't bring his nephew back.
It's gonna cost him $1,500 to go home and be with his family. Well, we're at a loss. We'll never have Hunter standing with us again.
During the hearing, Newcomb asked for Brittain's family to not harass his client and his family, a statement that shocked Brittain's aunt, Mary Robertson.
I don't feel like we've harassed anyone. We've been on social media and we've stated what we feel, but as far as harassment.
Davis's family members did not want to comment on the case, and neither attorney spoke to reporters. Meanwhile, Brittain's family says they won't stop fighting for justice.
Keep supporting, keep spreading his word, keep Hunter's voice going, because he's not here.
In Lonoke, Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
Mercedes, thanks. Davis will be back in court on November 15th.
If convicted of manslaughter, he could face 3 to 10 years in prison.
The former Lonoke County deputy accused of shooting and killing an unarmed teenager, pleading not guilty at his pretrial hearing today.
Michael Davis is charged with felony manslaughter in the death of 17-year-old Hunter Brittain.
And THV 11's Mercedes McKay joins us live from the courthouse over in Lonoke with the details of what comes next.
Rolly Marlisa, Brittain's family tells me they were not surprised by Davis's not guilty plea, but it still really hurt to hear those words. Not everyone was allowed inside the courtroom, but several of Hunter Brittain's family and friends stood outside holding signs and shouting justice for Hunter. The pretrial was quick and to the point, lasting only about 5 minutes. Davis pled not guilty and requested a trial by jury. Hunter Brittain's aunt, Mary Robertson, told me the only reason they're getting through all this is with support from the community. She says it's something Hunter would have been amazed by.
Support means everything in the world to us from all over. It's amazing. It's amazing for all the people that's come together.
A reminder, Davis was fired from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office after it was discovered he did not turn his body camera on during the deadly encounter. He faces 3 to 10 years in prison if convicted. Next is a status hearing on January 24th, and then after that there will be a pretrial hearing before the jury trial starts on March 15th. It will all be right here at the Lonoke County Courthouse, and of course THV 11 will be following all of those developments. Live in Lonoke, Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.